Hey guys, this is part 3 of Amber Quartz. I originally recorded this part yesterday, and I think it was in about an hour and a half of gameplay footage, since in that part we had already reached a section that was new to me too, because, before I decided to make a Let's Play series of Amber Quartz, I played the game for about 3 hours, and in this part we would have reached the point where, we reached the point where I had originally stopped. Anyway, as soon as I finished recording part 3, I don't know what happened, because only the first half minute of the episode was recorded, so everything else got deleted. So basically what you are seeing now is a re-recording of part 3, that 1.5 hour footage that I lost. And I'm not going to act out of, I'm not going to act out of reaction or be surprised, obviously, because otherwise it was a totally eventful episode, and I think it turned out pretty funny too. Sadly, it got lost, yeah. So I was pretty upset, believe me, yesterday when I saw that the recording was gone, but, well, I guess that's just how it is, I guess. So I won't drag this out any longer, let's just get started, because if I keep yapping, I might end up having to upload a 2-hour episode, so, yep. Besides, I have to say that, it isn't seamless, because I always end the parts like it's a seamless stop, I'm recording a full session, but no, I actually stop and I just kind of do and remove the audio and just continue off when I feel like it, so let's just start. I don't know what I just said, to be honest. Somehow, I got here even earlier than yesterday. I arrived in front of the school gate and checked the time on my cell phone's clock function. It should be better to come to school early, but for some reason I feel like I wasted something when I do. By the way, this guy is just keeps running ahead. I don't know why. I'm pretty, this MC is pretty terrible, if I do say so myself. It's pretty much a dickhead, but Nayuta falls in line beside me, a little late. She's slightly out of breath. It seems that my fast walking was at a jogging level for Nayuta, or a jogging space. At this rate, I might end up being the first to arrive at school someday.
それだと私がなゆちゃんと会えなくて困ってしまいますわ。あ、たまちゃんおはよう。おはようございます、なゆちゃん。安藤先輩もご機嫌うるわしゅう。
Ah, Tenyuji, good morning. As with yesterday, I encountered Tenyuji here. Although the arrival time was earlier than yesterday, it was as if the timing was perfectly anticipated. No, if it were Tenyuji who loves Nayuta. No, that's impossible, no matter what.
ところでたまちゃんって、はい、なんでしょう。じーん。あ、なゆちゃん？
Nayuta is staring intently at Tenyuji. To be precise, around Tenyuji's chest.
先輩、たまちゃんのはどうなんですか？
What do you mean? No, blah blah. What do you want me to answer?
先輩の審美眼でありかなしかと聞いてるんです。
Your question itself is out of the question.
はい。
Tenyuji, who couldn't understand our exchange, tilted her head gracefully.
それじゃ先輩、また後でお伺いしますので。ごきげんよう、安藤先輩。
Alright, see you then. The first floor, halfway in the school. At this time there is a lot of traffic, so they quickly said their goodbyes to each other.
先輩、タマです。
Then I was called out by Nayuta, and I flinched as I turned around.
先輩、またネクタイ曲がってる。どうしてすぐにそうなっちゃうんですか？
Huh? It's strange, I thought I had tied it properly today. I feel like that she is some kind of, I feel like there's superpowers going on, because, if you don't know, there's going to be a genre shift It didn't happen yesterday's part 3 still, but I feel like there's going to be a genre shift. Or I mean, I know there's going to be a genre shift, but I don't know what that genre shift is going to be in this VN.
も
So,
う先輩ったら不器用なんだから。
and I feel like she has some kind of, you know, or she just like crooks my necktie every time I sleep. I don't know. Nayuta gave a little laugh and with a natural movement reached out her hand to my chest. Hey, Nayuta, just type. No, I think I can type myself. Hey, Nayuta, I can type myself.
ダメです。私がやってあげないとまたすぐに曲がっちゃいますから。
Saying that, Nayuta raised her arms and in a stretching-like posture retied my necktie. Not knowing what to do, I remained in a half-crouched position, going along with whatever happened.
こうしてこうしてこうと。
Hey, Nayuta, it's really fine already.
任せてください。こんなこともあろうかとネクタイ結びの練習もしてきましたから。
Isn't that an effort I should be making?
ちなみにその練習相手になったのは私ですのよ。はあ、いいものですわよね。
It's really rare, by the way, to like have a girl, like be so direct about being a Yuri character. Like usually this stuff is implied, but I like how direct this like subplot is. Next to us, Ten Yuji was murmuring something in ecstasy. Sure, Ten Yuji might be nice, but for Ten Yuji it might be nice, but for me it was an unbearably embarrassing treatment. It would be one thing if it were at least a place with few people passing by, but the hallway in front of the entrance in the morning? Isn't this what you would call a real public display of a hanging head? Whatever that means. In the end, I ended up showing a thoroughly embarrassing scene to many students who had come to school. Even so, up to this point, these trivial days are repeated every day. Even with a slight margin of error, it was generally the same start to the day as well. To the day as usual. However, after this, just a little, but surely, something different from the usual everyday life will happen. Phew, I really hope I never have to deal with that again. I entered the classroom and took my seat, pressing my steel-flushed face against the desk. Ah, the cool surface of the desk feels good.
あーサンダーって何机に頬ずりなんてしてんだよ。
No, just cooling down a bit.
よくわからんけど見た目的にキモいからやめといた方がいいぞ。
That's not true. Open those narrow eyes wide and take a good look.
だからこれでもちゃんと見えてるんだって。お前は俺の目つきになんか恨みでもあるのか？
I bear no grudge, but I get this feeling that you are up to something. I just end up teasing you because I want to make sure you are a good person.
その気持ちどう考えてもありがた迷惑なんですけど。
Well, don't say that. At the very least, I want someone like you to be tossed around by me.
何？もしかして八つ当たり？俺ってストレスのはけ口っすか？
Yeah, Mamiya was a good guy today too. To me, he is like a refreshing breath of air. Huh? In this kind of position, isn't it usually a cute, soothing girl?
たく、だいたい今日のお前にはそんなのんきに机にかじりついてる余裕はないんだぞ。
Huh? Why?
黒板見てないのか？今日の日直、お前だぜ。
Seriously? It was an astonishing new fact. This makes me feel heavy-hearted from the morning. Class duty, huh? What a hassle. Our school's class duty has quite a lot of tedious tasks. If only my partner girl were a thoughtful daughter, things would be somewhat easier. So, who's the other person on duty?
確かmina倉だったかな。
Huh?
だからmina倉だよ。mina倉。
Shut the fuck up! That was truly a shocking new fact. Minakura Satoshi, a genius girl who keeps others at a distance, aloof and solitary. Just that alone makes it the kind of thing I would want to avoid as a partner on duty. But more than anything, for me...
まああいつのことだしきっと遅刻してくるだろうな。午後からの授業もしょっちゅう老けてるみたいだぜ。
Ah, I see. That's right, isn't it?
今日の日直の仕事ほとんど一人でする羽目になるかもな。合唱。
So, Amamiya deliberately said this with an exaggeratedly disappointed look, but to me it was rather good news. Indeed, doing the day duty alone is a hassle, but it's probably much better than feeling awkward. Rather than facing head-on with someone I haven't spoken to in 7 years.
ほら日直さん、まずは職員室から学級日誌を取りに行かないとな。
Alright, I go for a bit.
お、潔いね安藤くん。まあ頑張ってくれたまえ。
Hey, hey! Seeing me off with Amamiya's incisor? I don't know. Why is this vegan keep using words that you don't have to? Amamiya's cheers, like, fuck. I stood up from my seat and headed toward the classroom door. Bad turn. Ha! At that moment the door carelessly opened right in front of me. And the person who must have opened the door steps from the hallway into the classroom. Ah! That was exactly the other person on duty for the day, Minakura Satoshi herself. Why is it that today of all days I'm going to school properly from the morning without being late? Well... actually today we...
はい。
Huh? As I was stumbling over my words, Minakura pressed something against my stomach. I always, keep the the same, no matter how many times I use that word. I mean, I say it the same every time, I think. When I reflexively accept it, I scrutinize it carefully. It is black, hard, and messy, and rectangular, and at a first glance looks like a thick booklet. Ah, the class diary. Could it be that you brought this from the staff room?
そう。
Minakura, with headphones on, nodded her head up and down slightly. That's how people nod. No way. Minakura, did you actually know that you were on duty today? And on top of that, you even went so far as to bring the class journal. I see. Thanks, Minakura. Minakura. Almost taken aback, I thanked her, and Minakura suddenly vanished. No, it's not that she disappeared, she just wandered out into the hallway. Hey, Minakura, where are you going? I immediately followed Minakura and left the classroom. Minakagura's... Her name is keep changing, what the hell? Minakagura's back was right there, and as if reacting to my voice, she slowly turned around.
トイレ。
Huh?
トイレ。行ってくるから。
Being taught so clearly, I finally understood the meaning of Mizunokura. Yeah, her name is keep changing. Mizunokura's words and actions. At the same time, I feel extremely embarrassed and start to get fed up with my own lack of delicacy. Hurry up and go. The first period is about to start. On top of that, the next words that came out were this. It felt like I might as well just die. Flap, flap, flap. I almost read it as flap, flap. That's, by the way, yeah, this VN has 8 scenes, so I'm going to obviously skip that for YouTube. But if you want to play it, you know, you can always download Amber Quartz and play it yourself. And then Minakura, remaining silent, turned her back and ran down the hallway with a pattering sound. She really want to use the toilet. What the hell is this already? Bonk! I've been shot! Left behind, I involuntarily scratched my head with the class diary in my hand. How's that? Still not satisfied, I felt like I wanted to jump out of the hallway window right now. And so, a day like no other, just a little different from usual, begins today. It had been really a long time since I last exchanged words with Minakura. The old Tomo from 7 years ago always seemed to be timid and had a shy personality. But right now Minakura is aloof or rather hard to figure out, and I didn't know how I should interact with her. Now it's canon. After the first period ended, the class duty work was waiting for me right away. That is a blackboard eraser. That is a mug. It is used to clean the blackboard from the previous class and prepare it for the next one. Why do you have to, explain what an object does when everyone knows what that object does? Silently erasing the blackboard, Minakura and I feel awkward and want to say something, but I can't find a topic. Of course, Mizunakakura. What the hell? Of course, Mizunakakura didn't speak first. I completely forgot what her real name is. Mizakura? Probably I'm the same as the machine translation, because I also forget because of the fucking mistranslations. Didn't speak first, and then an uncomfortable silence continued. Damn it! Can't something be done about this? Kso! Maybe I'm the only one who's aware of it like this. Minakura has probably already forgotten about what happened 7 years ago. No, not really. And even if she does remember, she might not particularly care. If that's the case, then I was just a vain, self-conscious guy.
Otto! Ando, ちょっと待った!
At that moment, a male classmate suddenly raised his voice. I stopped wiping the blackboard and turned around.
消しちゃった。そこまだノートに移してなかったのに。
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Apparently the board was still in the middle of being written on. I should have checked properly before erasing it. Yeah, like I said, this guy is a total dickhead. Sorry, could someone show me their notebook?
そうだな。おい、誰かさっきの授業のノート。
This is like a one-on-one cubicle of a classroom and you're fucking shouting? Why?
待って。
Eh?
うわ、mina倉が喋った。
She spoke before. The one who cut into my conversation with the guy was none other than Minakura. Honestly, both the boys and I were surprised. It was rare for Minakura to speak up on her own. Cut. And then Minakura began writing something with chalk on the blackboard that had just been erased. The written content looks somewhat familiar.
あ、それさっきの授業の俺がノートに移す前に消されたとこだ。
She has a photographic memory. Is that really true?
ああ、多分な。俺の書きかけのとこからちゃんとつながるし。
あ、ほんとだ。見てよ。一字一句全く一緒だし。
A girl who was nearby joined the conversation and opened her notebook to show it to me. Also, if you compare it with the part that Minakura just wrote on the blackboard now, it's true. It matches perfectly. By the way, what makes it a blackboard? I thought it's like a chalkboard always. Minakura stopped the chalking motion. I don't know why I just laughed. Minakura stopped the chalking motion and silently turned to face this way. And on the blackboard, most of the content that had been erased was faithfully reproduced. Minakura, could it be that you remember everything written on the blackboard? Minakura nodded slightly. The three of us looked at each other's faces. It is well known that Minakakura is called a genius. However, it was the first time I witnessed that talent with my own eyes.
すごい。さすがmina倉さんだね。
いやー、正直ビビったぜ。天才ってマジでいるもんなんだな。
Classmates sincerely praised Minakura. I also decided to speak my honest thoughts. Really, it's amazing. I'm surprised. Then Minakura suddenly averted her gaze, and as if on a whim, she turned around. And as she headed straight for the classroom door, I hurriedly called out to her back. Hey, where are you going?
トイレ。
She has a small bladder. Yes?
うん。
Ratter, click. While we were left dumbfounded, Minakura hurriedly left the classroom. What is this word? Unilaterally? Is that it?
なんだったんだ？
やっぱ天才って変わってるのかな。
After Minakura disappeared, the classmates opened their mouths, as if a spell had been lifted. To be honest, I also felt the same way, and I didn't really understand what Minakura was thinking. 7 years ago, I should have understood that child a little better. In the end, Minakura didn't come back during that break, and I erased the rest of the blackboard by myself. Why do you need 2 people for that, by the way? She came back during the middle of the second period, and at that time she was once again stared at coldly by the teacher and the students. Phew, it's finally lunchtime. The fourth period ended, and I finally felt a sense of relief. Somehow today I feel more tired than usual, or maybe I'm nervous, and it's mostly during break time. The reason, of course, is Minakura. Well, at least during lunch break I have to take a breather and refresh myself. The fifth period is chemistry class, and we move to the science lab. In other words, since we won't be using this classroom, there's no need to hurry and erase the blackboard right now. For now, as usual, I have lunch with Nayuta and the others. Pattern.
おい、このクラスの今日の日直は誰だ？
What is class monitor? Just as I was thinking that, a middle-aged man in a white coat entered the classroom. That was the teacher in charge of chemistry during the fifth period. I'm the person on duty today, but...
おお、そうか。実は次の授業で実験を行うから、その準備を日直に手伝ってもらおうと思ってな。というわけで、すまんが今から理科準備室へ来てくれ。結構大変だから、もう一人の日直も連れてくるんだぞ。
After informing them unilaterally, the chemistry teacher left the classroom. What is this word? I see this twice now. Why is it that I always have to prepare for the experiment only when it's my turn for duty? And on top of that, my partner is apparently someone awkward to work with. Did I say that out loud? I don't remember. When I glanced furtively... There's so many words that you don't need to use. When I glanced furtively toward Mizunaku Akura's seat, she was looking my way too, and our eyes met perfectly. It seems that Minakura... I have to remember Minakura, and I'm going to just replace all the weird names with Minakura. It seems that Minakura was listening to the conversation between me and the chemistry teacher. It looks like no detailed explanation is necessary.
失礼します。先輩、お昼にしましょう。
As usual, Nayuta and Ten Yuji came over and invited me to lunch. However, it seems that I have to refuse that today. Sorry, Nayuta, I have the duty today, so it looks like I won't be able to eat together or eat with you.
そうなんですか？残念です。それは大変ですね。ご愁傷様です。
So go ahead and eat first without waiting for me. If I finish work early, I'll come after you.
はーい、わかりました。
When I told her that, Nayuta looked dejected, as if drawn in a picture. While I feel sorry, I also felt happy that you were that disappointed. What? Why?
なになに？安藤は日直で一緒に飯食えないって？それはつまり、俺が両手に花状態ですか？
雨宮先輩、少々よろしいですか？
なんだい、玉野ちゃん。俺の左手を飾るバラ。
なゆちゃんが落ち込んでるっていうのに。空気を読んでくださいまし。
Deborah!
He has been killed. It seems like just now Tenyuji landed an incredible blow on Amemiya. Amemiya collapsed to the floor as if in a dogeza twitching. What the fuck is a dogeza? But since it's their own fault, let's just leave it alone. Well, that's how it is, so I'm going to go for a little while now.
はい。日直のお仕事、頑張ってくださいね。
Well, I do my best somehow. After all, I do have a partner.
相方？
Saying that, I turned my gaze toward my problematic partner. Then, Minakura, shall we go?
うん。
Minakura responded with a small nod to my words. And without exchanging any more words, the two of us leave the classroom together. That turn? No.
もう一人の日直の方、あまりお見かけしない顔でしたね。うん。このクラスにはしょっちゅう来てるけど、あの先輩のことはよく知らないな。
そりゃ無理ないよ。皆倉は教室にいないことが多いから。
あら、雨宮先輩。復活が早いですわね。
こう見えても俺、結構打たれ強いもんで。
それより天海先輩、あの日直の人、皆倉さんってどんな人なんですか？
ああ、多分この学校で一番の天才だよ。で、この学校一の変わり者でもある。
ああ、聞いたことがあります。そうですか。あの方が噂の皆倉友先輩。皆倉友。
なあに、ナユタちゃん。安藤と皆倉のことが気になるの？
はい。ちょっとだけ。
そういえば安藤も皆倉のこと気にしてたけど、ナユタちゃんが心配するようなことはないと思うよ。
そうですよね。
さあさ、じゃあ俺たちは飯食いに行こうぜ。安藤の分の弁当は俺が受け持つからさ。
ダメですよ。これは先輩の分なんですから。
チーケチンボー。
雨宮先輩、分相応という言葉をご存知ですか？
あ、ごめんなさいごめんなさい。調子乗りすぎました。
分かっていただければいいんです。ね、なゆちゃん。なゆちゃん？ごめんね。じゃあ、屋上に行こっか。なゆちゃん、待ってくださーい。
やれやれ、あんなに思われちゃってさ。安藤もつくづく罪作りな野郎だね。
This was originally the part where, I didn't know what was going to happen, because this was the part that I originally left off before I did the Let's Play, but right now this isn't the case, because I played like a good hour from this point. On the way to the science preparation room, just the two of us, Minakura and I. As always, I was getting frustrated because I couldn't find a way to start a conversation. Anyway, the silence is painful. It would be one thing if it were just a classmate, but it's even more so if it's someone I haven't been in touch with for a long time. Maybe I should just give up on talking? It's not like I'm thinking of using this as an opportunity to get along like we used to. I just wanted to do something about this strangely uncomfortable feeling. But if that's just my overactive self-consciousness, then to them, talking to me would just be a nuisance.
お昼。
Huh?
お昼。いつもあの子たちと食べてるの？
Against all odds, Minakura brought up a conversation with me. This is the second surprise of the day. What was the first? Moreover, once again, a slightly difficult question to answer. Yeah, if things like today didn't happen, we usually eat together.
そう。
Those two are first-year students, and they became friends over small things, started eating together, and then...
どっちが彼女なの？
What? I never thought Minakura would ask something like that so directly. This is no longer about surprises or anything like that. Sis, it's an emergency. No, that's not it. Those two are underclassmen, more like friends. At least not yet. I wanted to leave it at that. But didn't you really need to get so... But did she really need to get so worked up? Most of my classmates probably think that Nayuta and I are dating. Amamiya is the only one properly explaining the situation, and I have no intention of going around explaining it to everyone else. So no matter what Minakura thought of me... No, after all, I don't like it. I don't want Minakura to have a strange misunderstanding about me. I can't put that reason into words very well, but anyway, neither of them is my girlfriend or anything.
そう
That so contained a nuisance as if the matter had already been settled. After this, until we arrived at the science preparation room, we didn't have what could be called a conversation. In the meantime, I couldn't see the intent behind Minakura's earlier question, and I was just utterly bewildered. Pattern. There it is. Excuse me. Shiraimasu. I opened the door of the science prep room and go inside. The interior was somewhat dusty, filled with stale air and the pungent smell of chemicals that stung the nose. Come to think of it, we often use the science lab for class, but I don't think I've really ever been inside a preparation room. What the fuck?
おお、来たか。待ってた。お
うん
なんだ。もう一人の日直は皆倉だったのか。だったら話が早い。
Huh? What does that supposed to mean?
皆倉相手なら説明が不要ってことだよ。
Huh? It might be unnecessary to explain to Minakura, but for now I wanted it to explain in a way that I could understand. But pressing the issue there feels pointless, so I decide to stay silent.
それじゃ早速だが、今日は塩化ナトリウムの単結晶作りを行うから、お前たちにはその実験の準備をしてもらいたい。
Sodium chloride? A single crystal?
使用する実験器具は磁性るつぼ、マッフル、スタンド、線熱線、導線、それに加熱装置だな。
はい。
それらの実験器具を各班の分、隣の理科室に揃えて、種結晶を得る段階まで準備してくれ。以上だ。
Sensei, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do.
ま、お前にはそうだろうな。でも、皆倉ならわかるよな。
はい。
なら十分だ。あとは皆倉の指示に従って準備を進めてくれ。
That's so irresponsible.
大丈夫。皆倉は下手すりゃ先生より詳しいしな。じゃ、先生は他の実験の準備があるから、これで。
Sensei. The teacher, without any argument, forced work on us and hurriedly went outside. What a dickhead. Everyone is a dickhead when it comes to guys, except Amamiya. Left in the dusty science preparation room were with just me and Minakura. By the way, when I did the previous part 3, I called it that there's going to be a kabedo moment, like, you know, Minakura accidentally followed me before the scene actually happens, so it's kind of a spoiler, but I just wanted to say that. It can be helped. For now, let's get ready. Minakura faintly nodded at the words I muttered. That said, I have no idea what I should do, so I have no choice but to have Minakura give me instructions. The teacher said it would be enough if Minakura is there, but is it really okay? First, what should I do?
まず磁性るつぼとマッフルから用意する。
Magnetic crucible? Muffle?
磁性るつぼは蒸発皿のこと。
Ah, if that's the case, I somehow feel like I understand. I used it a few times before, even when we did experiments in class.
じゃ蒸発皿の方をお願い。マッフルは私が用意する。
Okay, got it. Minakura gave instructions calmly, yet accurately. In this way, we began preparing for the experiment. Carried a specific experimental equipment from the science preparation room and prepared the amount for each group in the adjoining science classroom. I barely knew the names of the experimental equipment or what they actually looked like, but thanks to Minakura's instructions, I somehow managed. Even so, Minakura really is amazing. She had a perfect grasp not only of the experiment content, but also of where everything was located in the science preparation room. This isn't just about having a good memory, like remembering everything written on a blackboard. Somehow, she's definitely different from 7 years ago. The Tomo I know was shy, slow, and clumsy at everything she did. I think my school grades were good even back then, but I was by no means the type who could give instructions efficiently like I can now. So we are not kids forever, huh? It's a natural thing, of course, but right now it felt unusually lonely to me. Phew, even so, this is pretty tough. The two of us have been working endlessly since a little while ago, but setting up the experimental equipment is troublesome and it's not finishing easily. At this rate, it looks like there won't be time to eat lunch. Come to think of it, I wonder where Minakura usually eats and what she eats. It's not often that I see Minakura in the classroom during the lunch break. It seems that in the first place, skipping after lunch until the afternoon classes is also quite common. I was a little curious, so I decided to ask the person herself. Hey, Minakura! When I spoke to her, Minakura, who was setting up the experimental equipment, turned to face me with an expressionless face. Hey, Minakura, do you go for bento or lunch? The school cafeteria? Or do you buy it somewhere else? Minakura stiffened for a moment, remaining unresponsive to my question. Is it okay to say that this doesn't mean it's being ignored, but rather that they are thinking about the answer to the question?
カロチンメイト
Huh?
お昼いつもカロチンメイトだから
Carotene mate. It's what you would call a balanced nutritional food. I imagine something like a stick-shaped cookie. I don't really eat stuff like that, so I don't know, but I couldn't think of it as a proper lunch. Can you really get full with something like that?
私小食だから
But if we go to the school cafeteria or something, wouldn't there be tasty stuff even in small portions? Who are you to criticize someone's food habits or eating habits?
人混みは苦手いつも一人で食べてる
I see.
うん
I don't really like this MC, by the way. I couldn't say anything more than that. And now, belatedly, I regret having asked something unnecessary. The solitary genius girl, that was nothing more than a rumor whispered around. But when I hear it directly from the person herself like this, I'm inevitably reminded that it is indeed the truth. This kid really isn't the Tomo I know anymore. But I still think it's better to have a proper meal rather than that kind of thing.
うん
When I said that, Minakura nodded ambiguously. After that, the slightly awkward atmosphere continued. Now, it might just be me feeling that way on my own, but somehow I felt uneasy. I'm really stuck. I wanted to avoid this kind of situation, but of course it ended up like this. As I glanced sideways at Minakura, she was trying to carry some heavy experimental equipment by herself. That's a stand. It seems it's going to be used today when heating sodium chloride in the experiment. For Minakura, who had a small body, carrying that would be tough. Minakura, I carry that. Huh? When I tried to help and approach Minakura, she flinched and lost her posture. Then the stand in Minakura's hand tilted forward in front of her. Watch out! Drawn by the weight of the falling stand, Minakura's small body also fell forward. I instinctively tried to catch Minakura as she fell, dashing straight at her. Damn, that was a crash. She died. The stand fell to the floor and a deafening sound echoed around. Almost at the same time, I also fell on my butt, and then after that there was an impact on my back and the back of my head.
大丈夫
Huh? Startled by the voice that came from surprisingly close by, I opened my eyes. We have the thumbnail. Then, when I looked up, there was a close-up of Minakura's face. From angles you don't usually see her white neck and nape, the certain presence of her that I feel on my chest. And our eyes met perfectly, and before we knew it, we were staring at each other. Well... You can do it. What I was supposed to say. You can feel Minakura's breathing from the front. Minakura. Above all, her face was closer than ever before, and I couldn't take my eyes off her unexpectedly clear eyes. Minakura, are you hurt?
多分大丈夫。
It seems that there are no injuries over there. Rather, I might be more seriously injured, having hit my butt back and head. But now I felt that other sensations had become far sharper than pain. I'm on the bottom, Minakura is on top. If I just stretch out my arm and casually pull Minakura closer, I could easily hug her. Minakura's small body seemed to fit perfectly in my arms. Well, depending on how you look at it, it could also seem like Minakura is the one pinning me down. A situation where I, a man, am being pushed down by Minakura, who is quite petite even among girls. It feels quite improbable, but that very gap further fuels the imagination. If she keeps bringing her face closer like this, I surely won't have any way to resist. No, what am I thinking? Damn it! It's dangerous. I have a feeling that it will be extremely dangerous if things continue like this. But in this state, it seems I won't be able to move unless Minakura gets out of the way. But she remains staring at me without moving a muscle. Honestly, this position has an irresistible charm, but we can't stay like this forever. Hey, Minakura, sorry, but could you get up first? When I timidly called out to her, Minakura suddenly seemed to come to her senses and gasped.
ごめんなさい。
Minakura muttered that softly and immediately moved her body out of the way. Yush! Following Minakura, I also stand up. We didn't say anything to each other. No, we couldn't possibly say anything. This is awkward in a different way than before, and now my heart is starting to race. Somehow, this is hopeless. I don't think I can look Minakura's face properly. It's already this late. If I don't hurry, lunch break will be over. I'll carry all the heavy stuff like the stands, so Minakura just set them up. Is that okay?
わかった。
Well, let's get the rest done all at once. I don't know why I said it like a nerd. I picked up the fallen experimental equipment as if to cover up the situation, and I declared loudly. And then we hurriedly finished preparing for the experiment. It was true that there was little time left, but the correct thing was that I hurried to hide my inner agitation. Phew, it's over, twice. I somehow made it in time. Pretending to wipe sweat, I act overly high-spirited. I wasn't actually sweating, but in my heart I was breaking out in a cold sweat quite a bit. Minakura, good work today. I was really relieved to have you here. Well, you see, I had no idea where anything was on my own.
もう行っていい？ それじゃ。
That turn. Minakura dipped. Minakura opened the door of the science preparation room and went out as if trying to escape. Before I even had time to speak up, I didn't even know what I should say in the first place. That girl might be in the bathroom again. But for totally different reasons this time. That's right, I remembered. Tomo, too, whenever something happened for some reason, always wanted to go to the bathroom. Wasn't that a sign that she gets nervous? The chime rings, signaling the end of lunch break. In the end, I didn't have time to eat lunch. After that, I continued to cooperate with Minakura and cut through the duties of the day monitor. What happened during lunch break cleared my mind, for better or worse, but I'm not sure how Minakura feels about it. All I can say is that Minakura, who is usually often late and skips classes, attended every single class for the entire day today. But I had no idea what that meant. It meant exactly what it meant. And then after school, For some reason, just today, I ended up taking on various chores assigned to the person on duty from all directions, and before I knew it, it had gotten completely late. I told Nayuta to go home first, but she looked really dissatisfied. I couldn't even have lunch together today. Well, we can follow up on Nayuta tomorrow. As for the day duty, if we do it today, it won't come around again for a while. And due to the difference in the number of men and women, it is unlikely that Minakura and the person on duty will be chosen again. Yes, an opportunity like this will never come again. I have a feeling that tomorrow is exactly what. Yeah, it's cold. As I was casually watching the sunset, a cold wind blew in through the window. It's already October. By evening, the temperature reaches a point where you can't just call it cool anymore. Evening classes are the worst. Oops, better lock up. And then I remembered my duty as the person in charge for the day and went around the classroom closing the windows one by one. As for Minakura, she's at the teacher's podium writing the class diary. Today I exchanged words with this childhood friend for the first time in almost 7 years. However, looking back on the day, we didn't talk about any childhood stories at all. Well, there's nothing in particular to talk about. Indeed, I talked with Minakura today more than I could normally imagine in a single day. But when tomorrow comes, there will probably be nothing to talk about like we did today. After all, it won't be like 7 years ago. I should have already known that, yet somehow it felt lonely. While hiding such feelings in my heart, I call out to Minakura. Minakura, it's getting late, so let's head home soon. All that's left is to submit the class journal, right? However, Minakura, still holding the mechanical pencil, had stopped writing in the journal. What's a mechanical pencil? Why not just a normal pencil? Or a pen? I wondered what was going on and walked over to her side, peering into the class journal spread out on the teacher's podium. What? You have almost finished writing it, haven't you? Now all that's left is what I taught today. Yes, what remained at the very end was the blank at the bottom of the class diary, the section to write thoughts I had today. It seems that Minakura is stuck here. What I taught today, huh? This part really feels just like an elementary schooler's diary.
何を書けばいいのかわからない。
Stuff like this is ridiculous to write seriously, right? You can just write whatever you think.
私が思ったこと。
When I gave brutally honest advice, Minakura thought for a moment, then started moving her mechanical pencil again. Oh, what did you write? Let me see. When I looked over Minakura's hand, this was written there. The duty of being on day shift was fun, she said. But she wrote, that was exactly the kind of simple impression of an elementary school student, filling the blank space of the class journal with neat handwriting. It's kind of sad, I feel. Being on duty was fun. Unable to gauge the true meaning of those words, I feel a little unsettled. And Minakura, as if not wanting to be seen any further, snapped the journal shut.
これ職員室に提出してくるから先に帰っていい。
I could only nod in stunned silence. And Minakura, on her way out, said a word.
さよなら。
Leaving those words behind, she walked out of the classroom. I don't know. Left alone in the classroom, I muttered to myself. I was a little unsure about what to do, but I decided to take advantage of Minakura's words and go home first. There is something like lingering attachment, a lingering feeling that I might be able to regain what I once lost. But what good would it do even if I got it back? That's enough for today, right? Even if we can't go back to the way things were, we might be able to have a normal relationship. I just didn't like things being awkward in a half-hearted way. Let's go home. holding my bag, I left the classroom. It's been a while since I left school at this time. Leaving behind the school building glowing bright red, I found myself strangely overcome with emotion. Me in the Going Straight Home Club and Nayuta in the Detour Club. When the two of us walk home together, the sun is usually still high in the sky. So being here with the school died in the sunset behind me is something that hasn't happened in recent times.
先輩だおーい先輩
Huh? That voice? Nayuta!
先輩もう遅いですよ
Coming at a jog from near the school gate was the head of the after-school club, who wasn't supposed to be here. Like a puppy that has found its owner, she ran over wagging her hair instead of a tail. Nayuta, why are you here? I told you to go home first.
だって一人で帰るのって
Even so, you didn't by any chance wait here all this time? Nayuta had an embarrassed smile, as if trying to cover it up. In this season, once the sun sets, it's no longer just cool, and yet you have been here all this time thinking about me. If you were waiting, you could have contacted me on your phone. I would have heard more.
だって日直の仕事の邪魔しちゃ悪いかなって思ってそれに
Besides,
こうして先輩を待ってる間も楽しかったですから
she's very jealous. I don't think she's a tsundere type, by the way. I think she's more so a dere. In the evening glow, Nayuta faces with a smile without any shadow. I find myself unexpectedly moved by her steadfastness. Even while I was captivated by old illusions, Nayuta was simply looking straight at me.
あれお前らまだ学校に残ってたのかよ
Amemiya! I came to my senses at the sight of Amemiya, who appeared unexpectedly. Damn, I was about to be swept away by the atmosphere again.
あれもしかしてお邪魔だった悪い気にせず続けてくれ
It's not like that. Don't try to be all considerate in a weird way.
天海先輩ってばもうちょっと気を使ってくださいよ
意見が二極か一体どっちなんだよ
What was that chicken sound?
まあ賑やかですわね私も混ぜてもらってよろしいですかあ、たまちゃん
Then Yuji, are you heading home now too?
ええ今しがた図書委員
I
の仕
love
事を
putting
終えたところで
emphasis
し
on
て
the 10 Yuji. Probably I said it, I don't know. It was rare for the 4 members who usually met during lunch break. Okay, you counted yourself too. Okay. During lunch break to see each other like this after school. Come to think of it, I couldn't eat lunch with these guys today. Since it's a rare occasion, shall we all go home together?
そうだなこのメンツで帰ることなんてあんまないし
私はなゆちゃんと一緒でしたら大歓迎ですわ
Nayuta, is this okay?
もちろんいいですよいいんですけど
Nayuta was about to stomp their feet in frustration at any moment. Well, I can somewhat understand how he feels, though. But I felt bad for Nayuta. I was in the mood to be with as many people as possible right now. Okay, so this was the point where I left part 3 off, and I'm going to do the same. Hopefully I recorded everything. If not, then I'm going to be pretty furious. So this was the end of part 3, and after this part we are going to I mean at least me going to go back to like ending the episode seamlessly, because I just don't want to yap. I don't feel like yapping at the end of and at the start of or beginning of each episode. So thank you guys for watching, and I see you in part 4 of Ember Quartz.